So as we get down here towards the bottom, we have one that's a little bit harder to deal with. So let's walk our way through this. It's going to take a little bit longer than the other ones. So it says E is the midpoint of AD. That's not going to be a problem. 2 equal parts. Let's just do that right now. Let's get that out of the way. So AD has a midpoint. That means that those two are the same. That's the second line right here. So it says AE is congruent to ED because midpoint creates 2 equal parts. Okay, that's taken care of. Then it says I have an isosceles triangle. All right, an isosceles triangle with CEB as the vertex angle. All right, so I have an isosceles triangle that's 2 equal legs and 2 equal base angles. All right, so let's see if I see anything about that. There's the word legs right there, so let's do that in purple. So hang on, let's make sure we get this all figured out right here. ECB. There's my isosceles triangle, CEB as the vertex angle, which is up here. So that means the base angles are up at the top, actually, and the legs are connecting to that base angle. So the legs are right there. So I have EB congruent to EC. There's my legs. And then I see right here that it says EBC, which is this angle right there, is congruent to ECB, which is that angle right there. So those two angles are congruent. Those are the base angles. So because isosceles triangle has congruent base angles. All right, so now there is a piece of information missing. It should also say and BC. His viewers will say this, parallel to AD is something I left off when I made this. So it should say that. All right, remember with parallel lines, we get alternate interior angles congruent, and that's the Z situation. Whoops, that is not a Z. So it's those situations right there. So let's see what's happening there. So it's, do this the right way. It's this line and this line. So I have a Z like this, and I also have a Z like this. All right, and this is where I've got to kind of look at what's happening. So let's look at the one that gives me the angles first. BCE, which is, I'm going to put a little, let's do this. 1, 2. So BCE is 1, CED is 2. So those two are the same because, well, they're alternate interior angles. So parallel creates, I did not finish spelling parallel, right? Parallel creates congruent alternate interior angles. All right, and then it says, the step before it says, because parallel creates congruent alternate interior angles. There's a second pair, 3 and 4, okay? So angle CBE congruent to angle CBE AEB. All right, so there's those angles. Now I got to step with a star here, and this is kind of a preview of what's going to happen when you actually write your own proofs. Getting to like where I am right now, that's just, do I know the basic vocabulary for the stuff that we're doing? This next step right here, all right, and I've numbered things. So let's see, CED is 2. And of course I've got these, because why not? CED is 2, BEA is 4. So it's basically saying that 2 over here, not basically, it's saying 2 over here is congruent to 4 over there. So how do I get there? Well, what happened is, and I'm going to write this over to the side here, I have angle 1 equals angle 2, angle 3 equals angle 4, and I also know that angle 1 equals angle 3. So these two right here are equal. Since these two on the left-hand side are equal, it's impossible that these two over here are not also equal. So what am I going to say? I'm going to say because they are equal to a pair of equal angles. And what you'll see when we start writing our own proofs is there's always some kind of thing that happens in a proof or something where, is there something you could memorize to do it? There sure is. All right. But I think that it's much, much easier at that point. Just be like, let me just say what's happening. Okay. Because if I start trying to memorize everything that could possibly happen in any proof ever in existence in this class, that's too much. All right. I've got to be able to think. All right. I can be able to think and be like, oh, yeah, okay, these are all the same. So then these two are the same. And the reason that that's incredibly helpful is because those should have 2 marks on them. All right. I now have a pair of sides, a second pair of sides, and a pair of angles. All right. So when I look at that, it's side, angle, side because the angle's in the middle. All right. So let's line my letters up. So let's go BEA. All right. So triangle BEA. So it looks like B matches up with C, but I don't know that for sure. E definitely matches up because those angles are the same. All right. And then BE matches up with CE from the marks. So BE, CE. And then AE matches up with DE again from the marks. So AE, DE. So there's my triangles. So triangle BEA congruent to triangle CED. Now, that's a very hard one compared to the first 5 in this thing, so take your time with something like this. And this is probably a little bit beyond exactly what we're going to try to do as we move forward.